I think I've probably rolled my eyes at nearly every use of the word promise for most of my life since I was maybe like 5 years old. Because I think people misuse that word a lot, or just that it doesn't have the value that it's supposed to. The premise of promise is quite good, something that you have to stick to and that you will make happen no matter what. The problem is, people often make them when they have not enough to control to ensure that that's true, leading to a lot of broken promises, and really there shouldn't be a whole lot of those. And the only things that really truly have certainty are in the past, and really items of the past that you actively witnessed and knew about, because the recording of history isn't exactly entirely accurate either. So there's very few things that you actually know happened and that you can promise with certainty that that is how things are going to be. If you're expanding out into the future that things are going to be this certain way, that you'll continue to be this way, it's just inaccurate. It's not going to be like that. Because you can have one thing switch up and then your promise seems like the worst thing ever at that point. For example, I've been changing English every single day until I get sponsored by Mountain Dew, done it for over 200 days. And let's say that I find out that Mountain Dew actually uses slave labor of all Rockstar Gaming employees so that they cannot work on Grand Theft Auto 6, and I will never be able to play that game because they're making Mountain Dew. Then I would be in quite the conundrum and wouldn't be sure how to act and if I want to support this company. Like, you need one thing to change. You need one piece of new information, and any promise that you made flies out the window, and you always get new information for things that are in the future and sometimes even the past. So since we almost always have an incomplete knowledge of things, it's idiotic to make promises in the future. And also, I feel like it's overused so heavily in like all media, like TV shows and movies. Like whenever a character's making a promise to someone, it's all emotional. I'm like, yeah, there's like a 99% chance the person that's making this promise is gonna die. I instantly hate them internally. It's like, yeah, you're probably gonna break that, which is the opposite of what you're supposed to do with these things. And so the promise of certainty with promise is so obnoxious to me. So what I'm gonna change it to is triture, because triture is really the combination of try and future. You are saying that you are going to try to make something happen in the future. You are going to try to make the future exactly what you are promising it to be. But you can actually acknowledge that you don't have exact control and it's not certainty. I know that that doesn't make it a comforting word anymore, but it was always just a lie. The comfort that most promises are made in anyway. And I mean, this is coming from the person that made the word capiche, which is just having like zero confidence in your speech and because you don't want to be incorrect. And so I've always kind of erred on that side of things where I always try to speak accurately for most scenarios instead of potentially being wrong or misleading people with things that are incorrect just because that's how most people speak, or because I'm trying to project a false sense of confidence or certainty. In most scenarios, like there's so much uncertainty surrounding everything that promises are garbage. So how about tritures? You're trying to get something to happen in the future. All right, for our song of the day, I have It Only Gets Worse, I Promise by Ecstasy. And this is a promise that is actually probably somewhat accurate most of the time, but not with absolute certainty. Anyway, this is a cool song, obviously, as you can probably guess, pretty depressing, with kind of a repressed, tranquil, haunting delivery, but it is still a pretty great song. It comes from Ecstasy, and this is an artist that I've been impressed by. They don't have a ton of music released, but everything I've listened to from them just about is pretty great. It's all fairly thematically similar to this, and stuff that I really enjoy. As for the video of the day, it is Joe Rogan meets Ro Jogan. And I remember watching this video years ago, and it's so funny. It's basically him talking to himself, just with clips linked together, and it turns into just like a stereotypical conversation that he would have years ago, but it's just him talking to himself, and the editing is really funny in this. And I feel like every time I see one of these cuts where they take a ton of stuff out of context, especially from the Joe Rogan podcast. I see a lot of these on TikTok. They are just hilarious how they link things up to make just the most ridiculous videos. And this is a great example, worth checking out. That's what we got for the Daily Do. I tried sure to tune in tomorrow and for the rest of time-ish, kinda. Alright, peace out.